Hello and welcome. Today we are in the Tier 9 Japanese battleship, the Musashi. I haven't played the game too much recently. In fact, it feels as though I've been away from the game for months, even though I know that's not the case. It's much less. But when I came back, for some reason things felt really weird. I can't really put my finger on it. Something just feels off, and I can't really tell. Maybe it's the new patch, maybe the maps were changed or something. Not this map in particular, but Greece, for example, felt really odd. But it is what it is. I picked Musashi because I think she's a really powerful ship. Well, first she's Tier 9, and Tier 9 gets the least amount of CV matches out of the high tier ships, which makes her ideal. Then second, Musashi is really powerful for a Tier 9 battleship. I think part of it is because she has so much HP, but also because she can overmatch 32mm of armor. And considering that this is a fully Tier 9 match, well, both parts are excellent for me. There are no CVs, because there are no Tier 9 CVs, and I get to fight Tier 9 battleships. Like that stock Iowa there. Poor Iowa. Oh well, it's good for me though. There are quite a few destroyers in this match though, 4 DDs on both sides, which does mean I have to watch out a little bit. I can't be too aggressive, I have to stay back at least for a large chunk of the game, otherwise I run the risk of running into torps and, well, having my game end. On top of that, Musashi and Yamato and Shikishima, our battleships more meant to engage at range, because their armor scheme works in a way where it's much harder to citadel Yamato, Musashi, etc. at long range than at short range. At short range it becomes really easy for most battleships. So you really kind of want to stay away. Oh my god, we actually citadeled that Iowa from 16 kilometers. Just random shots right there. But anyway, there's a black over there, 9 kilometers away. Considering how slow the torpedoes are, we probably aren't at risk of being hit by torps yet, but chances are there are some on the way. So I'm gonna turn away and just try to keep my distance. And I mean, as long as I'm sailing away, or at least partly turned away, even if the torpedoes arrive, it'll be fine, because I should be able to avoid almost all of them. Maybe not the last one, but that could still hit me. But it does seem that the Black's game is gonna end soon. She's at 1000 HP. Come on. No engine, so I don't need to lead quite as much. Come on. Easy game. Oh, and now I have an extra consumable to use. I have an extra heal. This makes this game even better. But there are still 3 more destroyers. The enemy has a Jutland and a Yuguma. They are both on the other side of the map, so chances are that the last enemy destroyer, which is a Venom, is actually likely somewhere around our side of the map. Which means I need to be careful, because Venom puts out a huge amount of torpedoes. Oh, come on, is this? Goodbye, Alaska. Well, the question is, what should we do now? Okay, C cap is being taken. Yeah, Venom is right there. So I have to be careful around this cap. Venom it's a really dangerous destroyer to play against this battleship, because it puts out, I think, more torpedoes than basically anything else. It just launches so many torps. And so you have to be incredibly wary of where the Venom is, because the torps... Okay, so she effectively has 2 launchers on both sides, but they have a really short reload time, and that's why she puts out so many torps. The torps don't deal like excessive damage, they're not like Japanese torpedoes, but there's so many of them, so if you start getting caught out, you're probably gonna continue being caught out, and you can't, avoid battleship, you can't angle against enemy battleships anymore. And so you have to be incredibly careful not to be caught in that kind of a net. And as a Musashi, I'm effective at range, so it's not that bad. I'd like to go closer, but the Venom kind of prevents me from doing so. Ooh, Georgia is showing her bow. I don't mind Battleship showing bows because Musashi shells overmatch that. Well, you actually have to hit though. I only hit the torpedo protection belt. Come on, Georgia. Oh, she's showing broadside now. Maybe we get luckier this time. I have to wait until she passes the island though. Remember to lead enough on a Georgia, because she does have speed boost and can go almost 40 knots. I think it's like 39.9 or something insane like that. Imagine a battleship going 74 kilometers an hour. That's, yeah, that's pretty fast. Also, if you're wondering what is the anime voiceover, that should be the Musashi captain, Arpeggio's Musashi captain. That's just in World of Warships. We should be able to take the sea cap. In fact, we probably should already have the sea cap. Mogador, go do your job, please. But I can sail closer now, because there are plenty of friendly ships over here. And the Friedrich der Grosse is likely to be the first to get hit. Yeah. She is likely to be the first to get hit, and she actually got hit. But this does mean that the Benham is still around, so I'm gonna turn away and start heading over towards the other side of the map. Because I don't think pushing is gonna work here. The Benham is gonna block it. Unless Mogador and or Fletcher go take care of her, there's just not much we can do. And I'm not saying that the destroyers have to take care of them. They can choose not to. It's just that this changes what I should do. And I mean, the Georgia and the Iowa have already basically been beaten back. They're down to like a third of their HP, so they're unlikely to contest this side anyway. So our Georgia and Friedrich der Grosse should be more than enough to deal with them. And since I'm noticing that on the western flank, our Georgia is gonna get angered in a little bit, you know, it might be helpful to help them. And since there's a Minnesota and a Jean Bar over there as well, I don't think our Östergötland is gonna be able to stop them from pushing over to the middle camp. Ooh, Benham actually got the Riga. Didn't think... Yeah, a radar cruiser died to a torp destroyer that has like 10 kilometer torp range. I think it's like 10.5 though. Still, Riga should have been able to at least threaten the Benham, but apparently not. Come on, Georgia, please go down. The match doesn't feel like it's even, but it kinda is. Both, you know, we've lost 3 ships, they've lost 4 ships, but honestly it really feels like the enemy is losing. I think positionally they're in a much worse situation, and also their battleships have way less HP than ours do. I mean, just me and the Georgia have as much HP as 3 of their battleships combined. Well, actually maybe even more than that. Come on, Iowa, please. Please. Well, 2 shell hits, 6k damage. And goodbye, Iowa. Next up would be trying to finish off the Georgia, but she's actually out of range. I could use my scout plane, I suppose, but I think it makes more sense to fire on the Friedrich der Grosse. Oh. I don't know why I tried to fire all of the guns, but for some reason the rear turret didn't fire. And I was already in a full turn after that, so I guess it won't fire at all. But anyway, we're getting into fighting range of the JB and the Minnesota over there. I think JB should be the primary focus, because that's a ship that's 32mm all over, so I should be able to overmatch her in a variety of ways and deal damage. The closer we get to her, the more damage I should be able to do. I don't really need to worry about this Minnesota salvo, because I don't think they can settle me at this kind of range. Or at least it's going to be very, very difficult. JB potentially could, but the rest of them definitely... it feels sketchy. Because Minnesota doesn't have the pen, and also Musashi's armor scheme at long range protects against citadels decently. Okay, next up I think we're gonna go for the Aegir. Just because Aegir can actually run away, Minnesota can't. Well, Aegir is more likely to be able to run away, I guess. And Aegir also has a citadel, and she's broadside, so we might be able to punish that. And goodbye, Aegir. And now it's just a mini soda. We are closing the distance though, and as the closer we get, the more dangerous the mini soda becomes to me, but I don't think it matters too much. And when I say more dangerous, obviously they're more accurate, but mostly that I'm gonna get into ranges where it's potentially possible for the mini soda to actually citadel me as well. Because right now, I think even if I show flat broadside, she might not be able to. Although maybe she can, I'm not entirely sure. But definitely the closer I get, the higher this chance becomes. Oh, she's actually healing, so I guess I do need to fire that salvo. Come on. Oh, come on. Wow, that didn't finish her, and now our Jutland is... Wait, what's he doing? Why is... What? Okay, I don't understand. The Jutland just kinda died. I don't get why, but whatever. Let's go find something else. Oh, actually 1 kill from Kraken. That would be nice. Oh, maybe the Jutland was actually saving the ship. Yeah, the Jutland says, should have started firing, but I was trying not to kill it. Effectively, the Jutland was trying to give me a Kraken unleashed there. So, I guess that explains what happened there. And that's very much appreciated. Cosmonope. Is it Cosmonope? Yeah, it is. That's a pretty good name. Anyway, I think the game's pretty much won. I have way too much HP to think of a way of really losing this. I'd have to eat so many Venomtorps to go down that I don't think it's likely. Venom is in the B cap, obviously, because that's where the torpedoes are coming from. Come on, Georgia. You have 2000 HP. You need to get hit by 2 shells and you should go down. Or 1 if it gets a pen. Oh god, my aim is so bad. Yeah, I don't know if that's happening. The Kraken, I mean. 17, yeah. No Georgia. But we do have an FTG and she is on the border. So scout plane up and we try to aim based on where she's gonna move. So one thing to keep in mind is, when somebody hits the border and stays on the border for a while, the ship gets slower. It gets really, really slow at one point. But the ship still moves on the border. The movement is translated onto the border, which makes the movement slightly different. So you have to aim on the border, right? You have to think of that specifically. But Venom has shown up, so let's just engage her. Although maybe I should try to finish the FTG. Oh, none of the shells hit. A bit unlucky. Maybe not too unlucky. She is 12 kilometers away. You know, there used to be a time when landing shells at like 12 kilometers on a destroyer was considered really hard. And nowadays you don't even consider whether you should or shouldn't really fire. You're like, I'm gonna fire, and most of the time you're gonna hit, right? It's an interesting difference. 2 shell heads. 1 pen and 1 overpen. But then again, back in the day, that probably would have actually, or almost killed the DD as well, because they could have gotten full pen damage, potentially. Okay, well my scout plane is gone on for the FTG, but I am already in range. She has 7k HP. If I get some lucky shells, I should be able to finish her. We control all 3 caps, so this should be unlosable at this point. I think even if we all... No, actually, yeah, no, even if we die, I think the game would still... Actually, no, if we all die, then obviously the game doesn't go in our favor, but I think 3 of us can die. And it should still be winnable. Come on, FTG. Oh, there's the Venom. Torpedoes, but I have 85,000 HP and 5 heals. And hello, Kraken Unleashed. Oh, and that's a 2nd win as well. I'm pretty sure that increases my reload. Decreases my reload time. which means that I should be able to put out more shells. 24 seconds of flooding, I'm just gonna heal, I'm not gonna damage on this. I should really just turn around and run, because it's unlikely I'm gonna ever be able to catch up with the Venom. But on the other hand, there is a Fletcher coming to support me, so I'm kinda torn. But I think it makes just sense to turn off. On the other hand, we're winning, and it's always nice to win harder, right? And the Venom is so low, all I need is like 1 or 2 shells and she's guaranteed to go down. But there's the other set of tarps, they are really common. Oh, and she's actually in range! Come on, turn turrets! Turn, let's go, let's go, let's go! Oh, come on! A secondary hit the main batteries didn't, and the secondary hit wasn't enough to finish her off. Come on, random shells, please. I know I'm gonna eat lots of torpedoes for turning the rear turrets, but screw it, I have so much HP. I mean, I ate like 6 torps there, and I still had 23k left and a heal. But unfortunately, the Venom slips away. We still win though, and we got our Kraken unleashed. 159k damage. It's decent, I think. Actually pretty good considering I actually sank 5 ships on top of that. Usually, you know, you don't get both of them quite at the same time. You either get high damage or a high number of ships sunk. But hey, it was a pretty winning game, and I'm gonna compliment these guys. Jäger, where is the... That guy was really nice to me in chat, but where is the... Yep, everyone that was really nice to me got complimented. And that guy, he was a worthy adversary. He definitely played his Venom well. I mean, he sank 4 ships, got 1600 base XP, and actually survived even at the end of the game. He played well. Unfortunately, his team just wasn't quite up to par compared to ours. Unfortunate for him, but I'm sure he'll have better luck next game. Here's the damage. You know, wow, I actually completely chaosed that Alaska, didn't I? 2,900 damage. 2,500 in the black, that's kind of acceptable, right? Because it's a DD, that's more than 10% of their HP, but 2,000 damage on an Alaska, that's less than 5% HP. So I don't know if it makes sense to go over the commander skills now, considering there's a rework coming, but hey, whatever, I'll go for it anyway. I'm using Yamamoto, and then priority target, expert marksman, superintendent, concealment expert, adrenaline rush, then basics of survivability and fire prevention. In fact, I could probably close my eyes and just read that list off, because it's been the same for a long time. Then I use the reload upgrade, concealment, then propulsion mod. This is why I take basics of survivability, and I don't take damage control, so I can have propulsion. Then I use aiming systems, damage control system modification 1, and main arms modification 1. And I think this is a standard battleship build for now. I guess when the commander skill change comes, we'll see what then happens. I think there'll be a lot of unknown at the start, so we'll have to just figure it out. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.